guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about new mom life and navigating your relationships, how to incorporate more self-care, how to kind of work through the changing and managing expectations that you have for yourself while caring for another human being, because it's a lot. And I've actually gotten a lot of requests to talk about new mom life. So I'm excited to kind of dive into how that's all come together. So also kind of talk about how to manage your relationship with your partner, how to find more time for yourself, if you hire any caregivers, and how to be able to communicate with them to make sure that they're essentially listening to you as the mom, because I know that that can be disregarded, which is also annoying when you're the mom. And making time for you and your girlfriends and, of course, your little one. So I felt like it took me a few months to adjust to becoming a mother. I felt like there was just so much in the beginning, especially with the lack of sleep in the newborn phase, and then learning how to care for a child. Like I honestly had never cared for an infant before, so there was a lot to learn, and I felt like I needed a grace period of just kind of like getting my footing. That's kind of what it felt like. I felt like I was walking up through uncharted waters, basically. And I feel like, kids change so much with all of the growth that they do, especially during the first year. And everything that they're experiencing for the first time, you as a first-time mom are also experiencing for the first time. So I felt like it took an adjustment period. And I think something that really helped me was reading the book, Bringing Up Baby. I actually did a video about the 21 most used baby products, and I included that book in there because I felt like it actually gave me a really grounding sense of understanding that everyone in your household deserves their own time and space. And I really sat with that because I felt like I think I read it when Dylan was like maybe 3 months, 4 months old. And I remember just thinking our home life felt a little bit more chaotic. And I think like as a new mom, you're really trying to be there for your child. And I can't say I felt guilty by stepping away to take care of myself, because I really know that in order for me to be the best woman I can be and the best mom I can be, I really need to be taking care of myself. But I felt chaotic just in terms of like either trying to clean the house or trying to have dinner ready. Like the normal everyday tasks felt harder and more challenging with a newborn and being a first-time mom. So I really had to kind of step back of like, are you actually giving yourself enough self-care and space? What else needs to be changing in the dynamic between you and your husband? What needs to change with your dynamic and how you're responding to your child? So I really placed it on my own shoulders to kind of work through what else was needed to bring the sense of chaos and stress down that I felt at home. I think there's a lot for me to navigate too on being a working mom. Dylan's 15 months and we actually haven't done childcare. So I have been working part-time and I've been taking care of Dylan for the most part full-time. And because we were moving from California to Colorado, like we actually were just like in transition. And even after moving here, we actually were having a hard time finding childcare. So just navigating that world with like, how can I still work and pursue projects that I'm really passionate about? How can I connect with women that I absolutely love serving and being able to help them on their health, but also be there for my family. And the whole point of starting Balanced Bombshells was actually to give me that freedom and flexibility to be able to do both. But I can't deny that it was a very rocky start of trying to figure out how to manage both. So I really had to manage my own expectations and challenge myself to actually do less, put less on my plate, really focus on little wins. I'm very much a doer and an achiever. And in my career, I've always been able to be pretty high achieving. So it was kind of like really checking my own expectations of like what's actually feasible right now, and connecting with the fact that I want to be there for Dylan. The whole plan was actually to have him in some sort of childcare when he was 6 months. And the closer we got to that mark, I just felt like we were really finding a groove, and the thought of leaving him, it wouldn't be good for both of us. Like even thinking about it now makes me emotional. Like obviously, like I just couldn't do it. And the fact that we were able to figure out how to navigate that, I think made it just worked for us, but I can't deny that the path didn't feel rocky. But in terms of, with my partner, with my husband, we definitely kind of set the tone of like, okay, we understand that we both need space for ourselves. We both need time together as a family with Dylan. We need space individually with him. So we really set up a system to, what is dad time, what is mom time, what is family time, and having more of a structure really helped. I'm a very like structure person, and babies also respond really well to structure. So it's like, I don't know if it's just human nature, but like we all want to know our roles and what's expected. So that was really helpful, just kind of setting some boundaries on our time, and then we can then fill our time with whatever it is we want to do. And then especially on the weekends, making sure that you have the space. So definitely, talking with your partner or other caregivers of like what space is needed, because I felt like to be like a good mom, manage my own energy became like more of a full-time job as well, of just being able to honor, here's when you're feeling tired, here's when you need more alone time, here's when you need to pursue other projects, and just get your mind to be focusing on something that is really like interesting for you. Because I also want to show Dylan, mom has other interests outside of the family. In order for her to be her whole person, herself, she needs to pursue her interests, just like I'm going to challenge him to do, and really stick with what excites him and lights him up, because I feel like that's where his strengths are going to shine in his life, and it's going to lead him down a path for his career. And I want him to see his mom working. I want him to respect women for wanting to be able to work outside the household, whether he's with a woman who has children or with a man. Like, I just want him to be so open and receptive to the world. And I feel like part of my job as his mom is to also illustrate that by example. So that's just something that's really important to me to be able to instill in him. And part of that is, I guess, navigating, the world in this way. So something my husband and I also did was recognizing that we needed time and space with each other. So how can we be having date nights, even if it's just not hiring a sitter and being at home, like let's cook dinner together, let's, watch a show together or a movie, let's play games together. We really love going on walks, and, it's something where we can bring Dylan and he's doing his own thing in the stroller, but then he and I are also able to connect. So we're really finding ways as a family on how to be together. And my husband and I actually have felt really connected through becoming parents. So I think that that's really positive as well, to be able to maintain our marriage, because that's something that's very important to us as well. Navigating expectations with caregivers. I have noticed with some family members that sometimes I would, just talk about Dylan's schedule, or like how, we were choosing to raise Dylan, and I would get a little pushback of like what their thoughts and beliefs were. And so I could definitely see that it was going to be a challenge if they were ever going to watch Dylan. And I would question, are you actually going to listen to what it is I know he needs? Because I feel like there can come up against conflict against caregivers who essentially think that their way is better and like they did a certain way. But I really sat with the fact that like I am an expert in my child and I know Dylan inside and out. And for me to say this is what he needs, this is his schedule, I do expect a caregiver to follow that. So thankfully, most of our family members who have watched Dylan always listen to that. They want to be able to give him everything that he needs, and they do understand that each child is different. So I feel like we've been really fortunate that the people that we have worked with are really open to like, hey, it's not like this is what I'm saying has to like be a thing. It's like, no, this is our child and this is what he responds best to. And if you want like a happy-go-lucky baby, here's how you're going to have that. And if you don't, then you can expect some crying, you can expect fussiness, you can expect him to not be happy. And I feel like anyone watching your child wants obviously to hang out with a happy child. So I think too, is like how to frame the conversation of like, this is what works for your child. And it's then also like, setting the tone of like, you're the mom, like you're the expert in your child. So something that we have noticed that can be an issue as we kind of get older with Dylan is like, we don't do screen time. We are honoring no screen time under 2. And I know that a lot of people don't do that. They'll give their phone to their child or their iPad, or they put them in front of the TV. And that's not to shame other parents that do that. We are just actually against it because we don't think that that's good for his development. And like, we grew up without screens for a long time. So like, clearly our parents are able to figure it out. And like, we haven't had any issues with Dylan in that because he's never been introduced to it. And we're so firm on that belief in our family that he doesn't know any different. So I understand that people do it for whatever reasons, and everybody has their own viewpoint on it. And that's not meant to shame other people who do take that lifestyle, but that is something that I've noticed that other caregivers might not be as open to, or even other families that play dates. We've noticed that people like will have the TV on a lot, and we're just not into that life. So that's just one thing that I can tell could be a little bit more challenging as he gets older. And we'll reassess like as he becomes 2, but he's not 2 yet. So, definitely be firm in your own values and beliefs and what you want to instill in your family, and just know that like not everybody is going to see it that way. Like everybody has their own way of doing things, and we have to respect that. And just as much as I respect other people for making that decision, I also would expect that respect in mine as well. So I had a question in the Balanced Bombshells community about how to set up daddy and baby time where mom's not included so that you can have a break. So I wholeheartedly support that, because, your husband or the father is an active participant in having this child. So it really shouldn't be like the dad is like watching your kid. It's more like they're spending time with their child. So thankfully I have a partner who is all in family life. And I did notice that there were times where, I am with Dylan more, and I really had to challenge myself on practicing like going to the store with him, or, going out for the day by myself with him. Like I really put it on me to challenge myself of like, how am I going to do this on my own? And so I did notice that Tyler would feel a little, less confident on doing it by himself. So I would tell like he would only like bring him out of the house if it was us as a family. And I was like, I think it's time for you to really challenge yourself on taking him out with just the 2 of you. And I was like, Dylan is great like going out and just being out in the world. And I think that's important for you guys to experience together. So I really tried to take it like, hey, I challenged myself to do things solo, and I think it's time for you to do the same. So I got him like a manly diaper bag so he could feel good about taking the stuff out. And then I tell him like, hey, like maybe just to go and run one errand with him, or like go and take him for a walk to the park. Or I think that dads navigate things just like new moms are. And like, we actually have to kind of just practice doing things on our own. Like, how are we going to be as a parent to this child without our spouse or partner with us all the time? Like, it is empowering and confidence boosting on being able to handle it on your own. So that's kind of how we navigated that, because I noticed Tyler was always really great about watching Dylan at home, and he would always have his own dad time with him anyway. But I really had to challenge him of like, hey, don't feel like you can't go and do something. Like, how are you just going to live your life and bring the baby with you? Like, that's the whole point of what we need to practice. Like, Dylan is welcomed into our life, and I don't want us to feel like we're stuck like at home, especially if there's things on your list that you want to be able to do and accomplish, and bring Dylan with you. Like, he's excited to learn and experience the world. So another part of navigating our relationships is making sure that we also still have time with our girlfriends. I feel like time with women is extremely good for our health. It always lights up our soul, especially if you're connected with women who just light you up. So I definitely have been working on, making new mom friends, making friends where I can see them outside of my family and my child. I feel like I like to have that separation, and then always making sure that I'm having phone dates with girlfriends who are longtime friends and who don't live near me. I always want to make sure that I feel like we're connecting. So I'll either make time when I'm out for a walk with Dylan so I can have that space to be on the phone, or sometimes when I'm playing with Dylan, I'm able to put earphones in and like my phone in my pocket, and I'm able to like still interact with Dylan, but then I'm on the phone with a girlfriend. And now that we're moving and like making new friends, it'll be easier for me to like go out with girlfriends. But for a while, like it was just connecting with them on the phone, because like we're new residents to Colorado. So we're essentially, for our social group, have to start over. So I totally understand like, how do you navigate that time where you can have so many layers of yourself met, but it's hard when like there's less time in the day. So I actually have to really work on, again, managing my expectations of like, I can do everything, but I'm not necessarily going to do everything at the same time commitments that I used to. So like hang out with a girlfriend, I might hang out with for an hour versus 3, like I used to before, having Dylan, or taking him with us, maybe we go out for a walk and we're able to hang out longer. So I think there's just ways to navigate it and just kind of manage your expectations, that I think the time constraints that you can do would be less. Just like I actually work out less overall in terms of time than I did before Dylan. Not only because I feel like it's actually been more beneficial for my health, but you just don't have as much time. Like there's so much going on, especially if you're a working mom, like there's a lot going on during the day. So I was like, okay, I can have everything, but it just might be in shorter chunks of time. And that's something that I needed to adjust and manage my expectations on and just like get used to. So that's just kind of new mom life and how to navigate relationships, talking with caregivers. If you have any other questions, please let me know and drop them in the comments below.